Blog Talk Radio.
You are listening to Shriekfest Radio.
Good evening and welcome to Shriekfest Radio. This is Denise Gossett, the festival founder and director and your hostess for the night. Shriekfest Radio has been on the air almost 6 years. Tonight is our 191st show. Shriekfest LA will be October 3rd through the 6th. We will be celebrating our 19th year. Shriekfest Orlando will be November 2nd. Mark your calendars. Call for entries has opened. I was getting all kinds of emails requesting it, so I finally opened it. Let's see, our next Shriekfest Presents is January 11th, and it will be at midnight at the New Art Theater, and it will be the original Alien. And we're going to have some special guests, so make sure you mark your calendars, get your tickets for that. Shriekfest.com is our website. The call-in number for tonight, if you have a question for myself or my guest, is 657-383-0171, 657-383-0171. And if you have a question and you're too shy to be on the air, you can always tweet at Shriekfest or email at shriekfest.com, and I will periodically glance at those and get your questions answered. Let's see. I don't think I have any other announcements. Super excited about my guests tonight. They are the writers and producers of 2018's 2018's Best Thriller Feature Film, Alive. And I am super excited to welcome Jules Vincent and Chuck McCue to the show. Good evening, guys.
Hey,
Good
how
evening,
you doing?
Flo.
I made it.
Hey, Chuck made it.
Yay, I'm so glad. Chuck, how's your place? Is it okay?
My son and I and wife have been bailing out but we're good. We got most of the water, so we're great.
Oh, my gosh. Mother Nature is sometimes a pain in the rump, huh?
Right, it never rains in California, but when it does, it really comes down, huh?
I know,
Wow.
and causes all kinds of damage. It's so
All
crazy.
sorts of havoc, but it's all good. It's all good, and we're glad to be
Oh,
here.
yay, I'm happy to hear that. So we have not talked since the festival. I want to find out how you guys are doing. Everything going well? Are you getting ready for the holiday season?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Everything's Thanksgiving was great, and looks like it's going to be a good Christmas too.
Oh, yay. Yay.
The festival run's been good for us, too, so we're pretty happy about that.
Good. That's what I want to hear. Now, you both have done producing, writing, directing, acting. This question is for both of you. What do you prefer doing the most? Like, what is your first love and something that you can't just let go?
Oh, that's a good question. You want to answer that first, Chuck?
Okay, well, I've acted, and I'm not a very good actor, so even though I enjoy it, that is whatever. But I really do enjoy. I really enjoy the writing process, and I enjoy the collaborative writing process. I think that's one of the reasons why Jules and I have been, have worked together so long, because it's just a fun. It's just a fun thing to do because we try to check our egos at the door when we work. We try not to be precious about anything. If somebody has a suggestion that's better, then if he says something that's good or I say something that's good, we try to. Occasionally, we come to loggerheads and fight about it, but we usually, tend to get to what we think is the best. But I do enjoy producing. I enjoy that a lot. I enjoy the idea of putting stuff together, and raising money is not the funnest part, but it's part of the game.
Yeah.
And what about you, Jules? Which one do you lean towards?
Boy, I came out to LA to be an actor, and then it turns I'd like to think of myself as a pretty good actor, but since I hardly ever get hired to work as an actor, I guess that's not the case.
No, that means nothing. Trust me, it means nothing. I get not hired a lot, and I'm a damn good actor.
Well, I am somewhat of the belief that the results do, past performance is not necessarily an indication of future results, as they say, but the results do matter. Either way, I really do love writing. Chuck and I have been doing it together for a while. It is fun to do it. There's something about having somebody to tell you right, like immediately, instead of having to put together 100 pages and then send it out to the world. Instead, having somebody to tell you after you've written a scene, like, oh man, this is terrible. You gotta reevaluate this. This stinks. There is like an immediate sort of either gratification when it's good or letdown, but it's a less painful letdown, right? It's like death by 1,000 cuts instead, because if it stinks right away, you can fix it and you can move on. And I think as a result, I don't know for sure, but I think as a result we wind up with probably less drafts because we are both pretty, tenacious when it comes to like pulling out the bad stuff and not being afraid to say this is terrible or this is great and things like that. But that doesn't really answer your question. I agree with Chuck.
It's all good,
I really did like producing a feature film. It was, besides the having to worry about funding portion of it, it was a blast from, finding our partners in Canada and landing on the director and then the cast. The casting was really a lot of fun. I can totally see why casting directors have a good time. I really, really enjoyed producing, and I look forward to being able to produce something again that maybe isn't something that we wrote. So then you can take away that, because you get a little precious, even if you try not to be, you get a little precious about your own material. So I'd like to try and, Chuck and I are trying to find stuff to produce that we didn't have to create. And I think that would be fun too. So
what about directing something you guys wrote?
Oh boy, I don't know. I can barely take a picture in focus, let alone I don't know to look through a viewfinder. I don't know. What do you think about directing, Chuck?
You're awfully hard on yourself.
I don't know.
What do you think about directing, Chuck?
I would like to work with the actors. I think I do think from my time as an actor, some directors really were better with actors than others. I'd like to think they'd be good with actors and try different things. But I think a little bit of the technical stuff I'd be a little intimidated. But I don't know, if you get a good DP and good people around you,
Oh.
It would at least be fun to give it a try.
That's true.
Maybe we'll do shorter something.
The Achilles, luckily I don't think our crew ever figured it out, but the absolute Achilles heel for both Chuck and I on set was any sort of technical talk when it came to like whatever sort of camera it was. You could have been giving me like landing instructions for the space shuttle, and it would have mattered as much. You just look at it blankly, and you're like, all right, awesome, get the shot, sounds good. So that would be that's a big problem for a director, I think. So, yeah. Either way.
You know what though? My dad always says you don't have to know everything. You just have to surround yourself with people that do.
That's true, and then agree with the smart ones. Figure out who the best ones are and agree with them.
Right.
And then they'll never be able to scratch that surface and figure out this guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
All right. Fake it well. Well, I think we should do a shout-out to Rob Grant, the director of Alive.
Yeah.
But here's what you guys are going to do. So Rob is going to write it, and you guys are going to produce and direct it. This time.
No way would Rob.
So what? Now, if Rob really wanted to extract his revenge, he would also produce it. He would also produce it and make us just direct it. And then he'd put the screws to us on every edit, just like we did to him.
He'd take his revenge out on us.
Yeah.
Well, Rob was fabulous. He was so much fun to work with and super talented and just got everything and added so much. We couldn't have been happier with him,
He's
awesome.
He's incredibly talented, and besides the work that he did as a director, he put the whole thing together as the editor and crushed it. So yeah,
wow.
He's great.
You guys all wore a bunch of hats, it sounds like. Now, why was the casting process so fun?
Well, because you get to make those wish lists of all your favorite actors and talk about like how they would do and things like that. And then I don't know, what didn't you like it, Chuck? What did you like about it?
I liked it. I mean, you talk about different people, and and you're like, wow, those people would like. We love Angus. The casting director said, I think Angus McFadden would be great for this. And we were like, yeah, we do too, And Rob was like, yeah, he'd be great, and he read the material and responded to it, and we were able to make a deal, and then they were like, we've got our eye on this young guy, Tom Cockrell, and we were like, oh, the guy from Table 19. Jules and I had both actually seen it that week, and thought he was the best thing.
Not
in it.
together. We didn't go to a rom-com
no, we didn't
together.
We don't go to a rom-com
at the theaters. We caught it separately, and then we didn't want to tell each other that we had sat through a rom-com, but.
But he was terrific, and then luckily Camille came to us sort of through happenstance, because Rob said, I've worked with this great Canadian actress, Camille, and we said, yeah, she looks fabulous, and so we really feel fortunate that the casting came together nicely, and everybody was so
amazing
good.
Cast,
and
really amazing.
So that was a pleasant surprise, because you never know you just never know, right?
Right. Well, imagine it with a different cast. I mean, the movie could have so not worked.
Right.
And
the other thing is they all. I mean, yes, I agree. The way that it's hard to imagine anybody else in any one of those parts, but on top of that, those three went so far above and beyond, like, because they all showed up. You know how low budget filmmaking is, right?
Sure.
We don't have time. We don't have time for a lot of rehearsals. We didn't have time to get them in advance, a week or so they could all start working together. They just basically got thrown into the fire like 48 hours before the first day of shooting, kind of thing, and they worked so hard to get the chemistry and to work on the rhythm of scenes, and they discovered a lot of stuff between the three of them as they rehearsed and as they did take after take and stuff. And they're all workhorses and just totally went the extra mile for the project. So
and of course,
and it
Camille,
shows.
her very first take, her very first scene was a super emotional scene, as it always works out, right? Like literally, first 20 minutes on set, she's got to be crying and all that kind of stuff. And she really, I was like, wow, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
What's really, really great, and you guys did a wonderful job, is that you think, like, your starts go, oh, well, okay, we're going this direction. Oh, no, wait a minute. No. Okay, no, we're going this direction. And no matter what you come up with you're never right. Like, you guys have such a twist that you did a great job with it.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's funny. When I don't remember, somebody told me that they thought they had it totally nailed down, that it was like a lover's triangle, and they said that the final reveal, they were like, what? No, and they were they said that they were upset. They were upset, and not that they thought the ending was a cop out or anything, but they were just
upset
that
they got it wrong.
That they were like, like the first 5 minutes, like, oh, I've got this pegged. I know what this is. And then they were so upset that it wasn't that after like 85 minutes of saying they've had it figured out. So, yeah, that was sort of rewarding.
I think everybody walked out. I mean, everybody loved it. That's all I heard is how much they loved it. But I think everyone thought they had it pegged, And there's just no way. Now, my husband is so good at figuring out movies. Like, I have to tell him, please don't tell me. Because he'll figure things out in the first 5-10 minutes. And this one he could not get.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And even when he finally saw the end, he was like, I didn't see that coming. So, yeah, you guys even fooled him.
That's great.
We love to hear that. That you know, that just makes us happy. It means we, you know, because when we were working on that ending, there's always a fear that you don't want people to be disappointed. You don't want to feel as though we copped out or did something that we didn't do enough preparation up front and leave enough clues or whatever, so that when you get to the end, you go, oh, you know, that could never have happened, or that wouldn't have happened.
Right.
So that made us feel pretty good, that and exactly what we wanted. Because again, that's another one of those things you don't ever really know until you put it out into the real world.
Yeah.
Now, did you guys do test screenings?
Yeah, we did. Can I plug a company that was a huge help for us? Sure. So we worked, and any filmmaker out there, if you want to use these guys, can't say enough positive things. Indie.tv, and was that also the name, the company that did the test screening for us, Chuck, or is that the screener's place? No,
it's Indee, INDEE.tv. And they do internet test screenings. We didn't do we didn't formal it. We did an internet test screening.
You're kidding! I didn't even know there was such a thing. So then how did they get their viewers?
They have a database of about 300,000 people and growing.
Wow.
Yeah, and then they have facial recognition software. And so you have every computer has the camera on it, so they can see the audience reaction.
You're
and they
kidding.
have a way
that is really freaky.
No, awesome.
Yeah.
And then,
but they know
as a bonus,
the people know that when they're in their database, right? So they're screened. I mean, it's a little different than, in the old, or I guess they still do that, where they'll just sort of pull people off the street and stuff. But we had, went through certain demographics. They have some analytics that, depending on the sample size you want, and they use different demographics. So when you get the report, it tells you how, women 30 to 40 responded, how men 25 and under responded.
Oh yeah,
stuff like that,
and it was so valuable, and it was great information. And then on top of that, they have a service for screeners, very very secure. And then it is, anybody. I'm sure a lot of people that listen are filmmakers applying to festivals and stuff.
Yeah.
So they capture ISPs. And you don't know the person necessarily, but the area of the country or internationally, when it was watched, how much of it was watched, whether they went back and watched more of it, whether they flipped around through. It is so worthwhile. Anybody who's ever thought well, did they really ever watch it? Right? Know if they did, if they didn't. And you'd be surprised, some places don't watch it. So it was pretty fascinating.
But overall, we've had pretty,
So you use this service for submitting to festivals to see if they watched it?
Well, no, we just used. Well, now I don't want you to think that you had Big Brother watching you while you were watching it.
I'm going, wait a minute, there's such a thing?
Yes. Film Freeway was our submission format. And they accept any kind of link. I'm sure they have some limits to what they accept, but they accepted Indie.tv screener links. So there was a dedicated Film Freeway link. So whenever it got watched on a submission, you could pretty much figure out, especially if you knew what part of the country your festival was and stuff like that. You could figure out who was watching it, how often they were watching it, and then a lot of the European festivals are, they're either not on Film Freeway or they ask for their own personalized link, and so you could know exactly if it was the festival that you thought, that you had sent it to that was watching it or not. So.
Right. But
wow.
It's real secure. It's a highly secure link too, which is very valuable.
Yes.
People think they can do that with Vimeo. Am I saying it right, or is it Vimeo? I've heard it both ways. But people think they can do that with that system, and it is not accurate at all.
No, it's not accurate. No.
Right.
No, they actually, when we were talking to them originally, they talked about how inaccurate and how insecure or unsecure Vimeo is comparatively, and it's very secure. It's it's got a little watermark, and it's got all this different stuff. So piracy being an issue, and all the different things, stuff winds up on the internet that you don't want on the internet. It's great. We can't say enough good stuff about Indie.tv.
That I'm looking. I pulled it up right now as we were talking, and you're right. There is a link through them from your Film Freeway.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what? I would totally do that, because even like if I self-tape, I send mine through a system where I can see when they downloaded and how many times they watched it, for the same reason you guys are doing it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you don't want to sound like suspicious or conspiratorial or whatever, but it feels good to know that it has been viewed. Even, listen, yes, no, we think we love it or we think it stinks, whatever. It's just good to know that you got a fair shake.
Right. Now, did you have any festivals that you thought were amazing and then, they didn't watch it?
No festivals that I would say out loud.
No. No, I think we've had all the festivals. But we've had festivals that'll be unnamed, some good ones that there were literally 5 watches, and we thought, we're in, and then we didn't get in. And
well, that's like five different judges.
Right.
That's true.
So and then who knows? Maybe the final arbiter of it said, no, we're not, or this, or for whatever reason,
Right.
Nobody's 100% on any of these. So.
Oh my gosh. Wow. But you know what? At least
did we just blow your mind? Yes. Because
some people could. Let's say it was not a great film, and they watched 20 minutes and I can't take anymore. And now they're done.
Well, that tells you a lot too, though.
Right.
Right.
Right. I mean, then you're not kidding yourself, or you're kidding yourself if you think it's a movie people want to watch. If you find out, 47 people turned it off after 15 minutes.
Oh,
right.
Then you're like, okay, maybe it's not quite as good as I thought it was.
Heartbreaking.
Right.
It's the same thing with scripts. It's just the same thing with scripts. When scripts get sent out, you hear all the time from readers or other producers. They'll be like, 10 pages in, I know if it's any good or not, or if I'm going to keep reading it.
You do. It's weird. From reading all these scripts and watching film, I know immediately, but I am such a freak about it that I will read the whole thing, watch the whole thing. And people keep telling me, all my judges, they keep saying, Denise, you can't do that. That's what we're here for. You're wasting all your time. I'm like, no, I'm so worried something's going to slip through the cracks. So I am on
that's
it.
Right. I mean, that means you're giving everybody a fair shake.
That's
bad.
I sat next to Chuck as he slogged through a script that I couldn't get through, and I was like, why are you doing this? And he was like, well, you never know. I said, all right.
Right. It could get really good the last 20 pages.
To write a script.
Right.
I know how hard it is to write a script. I think anybody that actually finishes a script should be commended. Right.
That's what I say too. Yes.
It's so hard to write anything, and sometimes I just get so tired of people. I've got this idea, right? Oh, we should do that, and I said, well, okay, you should write it down then.
Right.
Spend a year working on it and agonizing over it, and all the kind of stuff that the rest of us do. And so I think whenever anybody finishes anything, that is an accomplishment.
Yes.
Of its own. And I'll tell you, the first stuff Jules and I wrote is, I go back and read it sometimes, and I cringe.
It's pretty bad. It's locked away, so no one could ever get to it or read it. We don't want to expose that to anyone.
I mean, not that it's gotten much better, but it's certainly better than it was. So I mean, I just think anybody that finished script should be commended.
But you know what? Okay.
Sometimes there's a great idea in there that just needs to be, reshaped a little bit.
Yes, and what I'm about to say is I think that you guys should go back to some of these past scripts that you think are crap. Take a second look and do a little rewriting. I think you have a nugget in there. It's just a vibe I have.
All right. Well, I know what we're doing tomorrow over the weekend.
Pull it out, have a good laugh, maybe pop a beer, and go back through it. I think there is a gem in there somewhere.
Oh, that's nice of you to say.
All right. Well, I'll let you. We'll send you an email if we find it.
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Where did this time go? We're at 3 minutes already.
We're not done, are we?
Oh, we're done?
Almost.
Oh, we're almost done. Okay.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's happening with Alive? What's going on with Alive right now? Because I know, it's amazing. If anyone's listening and has not seen it, make sure you find where you can see it. Do you have festivals coming up? What's going on?
We have, we're at, what's it, PDX Extreme, for PD Extreme in Portland in January, and we're at Weekend of Fear in Germany. In
Berlin. And then we're also playing again we're playing again in Austin early February. I think the tentative, because we were the audience award winner at the Austin Film Festival.
Woohoo!
About 3 or 4 weeks ago. And so they like to replay the audience winners for the Dark Matters. We weren't, not for the whole festival. I don't want to misrepresent that. Nice. It was for the Dark Matters category. But
nice.
That was great, because that's next to Shriekfest, that's something that we wanted to do well at. So.
Yay! Where
so
can people find you guys? And is there a website or anything for Alive? Where can people find you?
AliveTheMovie.com.
You're the social media guy.
Yeah, well, that doesn't say much based on our social media presence, but AliveTheMovie.com. We're on Facebook. We're Alive the Movie. On Twitter or on Instagram, where I think we're Alive the Movie 2018. But we might be Alive the Movie. Just look for both. Sorry, I don't have it in front of me. And then on Twitter, because I screwed up, we are Alive Movie 20181, because apparently 2018 had already been taken, and I didn't realize that.
Have I been tweeting to the wrong Alive?
No, I think I've been getting him. I'm pretty sure I've been getting him.
Okay.
Unless I think it's Alive. It's Alive Movie 2018 or Alive the Movie.
I think it's Alive the Movie 2018.
Yeah, I think it's.
There's
I think
a click
that's right.
through in the AliveTheMovie.com. There's a click through.
Right.
You can tell Jules and I are masters of social media.
Yeah, we're terrible on social media, and
well, that's your homework then. That's your homework. Is you got to do more of it, because guys, we're about to run out of time, but because you have fans and you guys are building this fan base, and it's going to only help you with future films and funding when you can say to them, we have X amount of followers. Oh, you already have a fan base. Well, let's give you some money.
Well, that's true.
Right.
I mean, my personal Facebook page has 300 or 400 friends, so
There
maybe they can just.
Let's get them on.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on the show. This has been a delight. I don't know how it flew by so fast. We're going to have to do it again.
Please.
Okay.
That'd be great.
We'd love to.
And we won't badmouth European film festivals for not watching the movie next time, I swear.
No, but you're going to privately send me the list. No, I'm kidding.
We'll send you an email with who it was.
Well, thank you guys. Have a wonderful holiday season. Have great screenings coming up. And anything you want me to help spread the word on, just tweet it to @Shriekfest and I will help.
Oh, I appreciate that. That's great.
Great. Thanks, Denise.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
I'm one of your top fans.
Awesome.
Oh, thank you. We love the fest.
Thank you.
Shriekfest is awesome. Okay, thanks.
All
Have
right.
a good holiday.
Thank you.
You too.
Have
Bye.
a good night. Bye-bye.
You too.
You are listening to Shriek